Hello and welcome back to Survival Existence. Today we're going to talk about hand warmers. One of those small, relatively inexpensive items that you didn't ever really realize you were missing until you've had one. Today we're going to talk about hand warmers, a very handy item. If you're outdoors, whether you're camping or you work outdoors or you're just simply going for a walk in the woods through a trail. I learned about hand warmers quite a few years ago, and actually the first hand warmer I ever had was the type that used a small strip of charcoal on the inside. And while those worked okay, I realized soon after that these Joanie hand warmers, like this one, that I've had for, quite a few years, I learned that these worked considerably better whenever you needed hand warming, whenever it's cold outside. I used to carry this with me while I was working, and I worked in a foundry. I worked in maintenance as a journeyman mechanic. You don't want to carry one of these because of the catalytic action and the potential for setting off fumes while you're working in an environment that may have fumes in it, but nonetheless it sure does help keep you warm. The coldest thing that I've noticed on the human body throughout my life are your hands, your head, and your feet. One of the most difficult things to keep warm is actually your hands. You can put gloves on, and that certainly helps. But still, in an environment where you're having to use your manual dexterity of your hands, you can't necessarily wear gloves all the time. That's where a hand warmer really does, help a lot. This first type, like I said, is a Joanie hand warmer, and I've had it for quite a few years. This next type I just bought just a day or two ago. It's a Zippo. Just as a cursory look over the two of them, this Joanie hand warmer is far better than the Zippo as far as quality and workmanship and its actual physical weight and how it weighs. Of course, time will tell as far as if one is better than the other or not, but I bought the second one to find out how the Zippo actually works, if it works, and how well it does work. And besides that, I would like to have one in my left coat pocket and my right coat pocket whenever I'm off in the woods or having to work on something outside where I cannot necessarily wear a pair of gloves, or it's just simply so cold that you cannot keep your hands warm even in a pair of gloves. One of the most important things with any of these hand warmers is to not overfill them with lighter fluid. They work by using regular common lighter fluid like you would buy for a lighter back some years ago. Somebody who doesn't know any better might think they burn. They don't burn. They actually work by catalytic action. What looks like a wick in these hand warmers isn't actually a wick at all. It's a catalytic converter, much like catalytic converter on your vehicle. It takes fumes and burns those fumes off. If you'll remember back when they first started putting catalytic converters on vehicles, usually under the passenger side front and sometimes the rear, the floorboard would get extremely hot, and that was actually from the catalytic action of that converter burning off excessive fumes. And that's exactly how these work. It burns fumes of the lighter fluid. As I take the top off of this, you'll see this looks like a wick, but it's not really a wick. It has a catalyst in it that burns the fumes off. Now this particular Joanie has a wick in it that burns much like a lighter, and that's just simply to get your catalyst going and glowing by burning the fumes off that are coming from the tank on the hand warmer itself. One of the biggest dangers with these hand warmers is overfilling them and spilling fluid on the body of the hand warmer or in the surrounding area where you're filling them up. That's the primary reason why they come with a cup. It tells you, and it has a line, tells you how much to actually put in the hand warmer itself. Whenever you first fill these hand warmers, it's best to not carry it straight out and use it at that time. You really do need to run it through at least one cycle, if not 2 or 3 cycles. The method for filling these hand warmers is to take the top off of the hand warmer and remove the catalyst and fill it through the top. But what you do not want to do is push this screen or these fibers down. You want to slowly pour it in until you have as much fluid in it as you want, and you put the catalyst back on. Once you fill this up, you need to simply let it set straight up for at least 2 minutes, if not 3 or 4 minutes, before you light it. Then, of course, once you light it, you put the top all the way back on. And then you can lay it however you need to, putting it back inside the bag. I'm going to fill these hand warmers up. I'm going to fill the Joanie up first because it has a bottom flat surface where it can set by itself for the 2 to 4 minutes that you'll let it sit before you light the hand warmer up, to give the fibers inside the body of the hand warmer time enough to become thoroughly engorged with the fluid, and also give enough time for fumes to work its way up into the catalyst so that you can light it and it'll stay lit. The Zippo, like I said before, the bottom of it is rounded, so it can't set by itself. Therefore, I have to hold it by hand. First, I'm going to fill the Joanie's measuring cup with fluid. That's the first amount. So I'm going to take this top off, remove the catalyst, and I'll carefully pour this fluid in the top, and I'll fill up this container a second time to its line. Most of us have been in the outdoors enough to realize how important it is to keep your hands warm. And it's well worth the effort. I do not remember how much I paid for this Joanie hand warmer. It wasn't too terribly cheap, and it's been quite a few years ago, as a matter of fact, probably over 20 since I actually purchased this particular Joanie hand warmer. This Zippo I purchased from Walmart just a day or two ago, and it was between $12 and $13 before tax. Not too bad of a price if it works well. Once I put the amount of lighter fluid in here that I want, I'll put this catalyst back on and just simply allow it to set for 2 to 4 minutes. While the Joanie hand warmer is soaking with the fluid in it, I'm going to fill the Zippo. Okay, now that I've let it set for the prescribed time, I'm going to try to light this hand warmer and see how it does. They suggest from the Zippo manufacturing company that you hold your light, whether you're using a lighter or a match, up close to the catalyst for 8 to 10 seconds in order to properly start the catalyst's functioning. In order for the catalyst to function, it has to get up to temperature, in order to take advantage of the fumes and to burn those fumes off within the catalyst itself. Feels like it may have started, so I'm going to put the top back on, and still holding it vertical, I'll keep a check on it and see if it's warmed up. Once it warms up, I'll put it in its sock that comes with it. And then I can put it in my pocket and carry it however I want to, and it won't hurt a thing if I lay it down once the catalyst is burning properly. I'm going to check these hand warmers now that they've been running for a few minutes. And this one's starting to warm up. It still has more to go in order to make it reasonably usable in a cooler climate. And this Joanie is doing the same thing. But if you really want to keep yourself warm while you're outdoors for whatever reason, whether it's for work or for play or just expanding your skill sets, get your hand warmer. It can really make the outdoors a lot more comfortable. If you get yourself into a situation where you need to put your hand warmer out, it's not as simple as turning a switch off or closing a lid like you would with a lighter or some other apparatus. What you end up having to do is remove the catalyst from the fluid in fumes. The only way you can safely do that is set the catalyst onto something that's not flammable, whether it's outside or inside. It could be a sidewalk, a brick or block wall outside, or whatever. But inside, what I do is use a piece of tile that I quite often use for food whenever a dish is too hot to put on a wooden table, so to keep it from marking it up. But what you end up having to do is using a gloved hand, leather glove. Don't use cloth, because remember, you're dealing with something that, while it's not actually an open flame, it's glowing red hot. The catalyst is. But take it out of its sock carefully without burning yourself, because it's not impossible for me to touch it, but you don't want to hold on to it too long. But pull your hand warmer out of its protective sock, and using a gloved hand, a leather glove, what you want to do is take the top off of the hand warmer. This catalyst, if it was dark in here, you could actually see it glowing. What you end up having to do is simply take that catalyst off and set it down. Leave the body of your hand warmer sitting straight up just like that, and let it set for several minutes until it's cool to the touch. And you can put the catalyst back on it and the top back on the hand warmer, and it's safe now for you to carry it into an environment that may have explosive fumes, or if you just simply want to put the hand warmer off. The instructions that come with these hand warmers plainly state to not allow them to burn while you're sleeping. You always want to be awake, which is a good idea, although in reality, if you are camping in a tent or slung in a hammock and it's really cold weather and you're trying to stay warm, you're going to sleep with it burning. But you certainly want to be very careful if you do that. There's a consequence. Once the fumes get completely out of this catalyst, you can put it back on and it won't even be an issue at all. Please subscribe to us on our YouTube channel at Survival Existence. Come visit us on Facebook at Survival Existence. Come visit us at our website at survivalexistence.com. Have a good day.